What's up, everybody? It's PJ North here, and we are back at Around the Mat, episode number 10. I can't believe I've made it this far, man. I am super happy to have made it this far. I've got new production stuff and all those things that we've been able to do. And I'm super pumped for everybody that's checked out the videos. I've been making a lot of shorts on YouTube, which have been getting a ton of feedback. A lot of people commenting their thoughts on One Has to Go, trivia time, best of the worst, all those pieces. So I love that, and I love being a part of the wrestling community. And so thank you. We've made it to 10 episodes. It's a big thing for me, man. I love that I was able to make it this far, so we look forward to continuing it on. So if you're watching on Twitch right now, thank you so much for joining us. We do appreciate it. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much. Like and subscribe. Comment too if you can, but like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton to know when people are getting this episodes and they're checking it out. So again, like and subscribe, the little button there, hit the bell, do that. If you dig wrestling, tell your friends about it too, man. Invite your friends. I'm always looking for new guests, fans, personalities, journalists, all those folks. So I love to connect with the community. So please join us. Again, this is Around the Mat Pod on YouTube. If you found us, wherever you found us, if you found me, I am the PJ North. If you found me on my Instagram, check out the Around the Mat Pod Instagram. I've been posting a bunch. So thank you guys. And without further ado, we unfortunately don't have any guests due to some unforeseen circumstances, but nonetheless, I've got a ton of great things to go over. No best of this week and no trivia because it's just me. Well, maybe I'll do one trivia. Who knows? But yeah, it's Around the Mat Pod, and we are back, and we are on the road to WrestleMania. We are now... I'm at WrestleMania when you're watching this on YouTube. I am at WrestleMania if you're watching live on Twitch. I leave tomorrow. I'm super pumped. I can't wait to get to Philly. I'm super pumped for everything that's there. WWE World, Suplex Vintage Shop, the Wrestling for Sale pop-up store on Friday. I cannot wait to go to. I got to go last year, picked up some shirts, so I love that. A ton of great vendors there. So I'm really excited. It's going to be a great weekend. And we got a lot to talk about. But without further ado, let's get into it. First up for me, and I'm even going to put myself on a clock today so that I don't ramble on. I thought that would be a good idea. So, first things first, it is A Storm is Coming. Jade Cargill made her debut kind of fully on Smackdown now. And man, I'm excited. I've been a Jade fan since AEW. I think she is great. She looks the part. She sounds the part. She is a great wrestler. There are things people think that she's, I've heard that people say that she's clunky in the ring or there's this and the other. I'm like, she is as raw and talented as anyone else I've ever seen. And I can't wait to see what she does in the ring. So I'm super pumped for that. I think the 6-man tag match thing is a little whatever. But needless to say, I think you got to get everybody on the card. That's kind of what they're doing with the two nights. That's kind of their thought process behind it. So I totally get that too. But the 6-man tag, I do have. We'll get into WrestleMania pick 'em, so I won't give that away yet. But I thought Jade came out making the save, doing the pump kick, doing the finisher, all the stuff. She's a mega star. I just don't see how anyone could say she's not. So with that being said, I look forward to what she continues to do. I think she's going to have a strong feud right out of the gate, right after WrestleMania. I look for her to go right into Bayley, or maybe they put her against Bianca first or something like that. But I think Bianca and her have a WrestleMania match down the road. There's just so many options. She's so good. She was great in AEW. Anybody that says she wasn't is confused and has bad taste, for lack of a better term. So with that being said, man, a storm is coming. A storm is now here. Shout out to Jade Cargill, one of my favorites. Everybody knows I'm a big Jade fan, so I look forward to that. Here's to hoping, right? Otherwise, SmackDown was kind of a letdown, right? When you have all those other things that happen on Raw, and then SmackDown being that. But I thought that finish was cool, especially with Jade, Bianca, and Naomi at the end, pointing to the sign. I thought that was a cool little segment at the end. So they're doing a great job trying to further the stories and everything. So I did think that was good. But let's get into really what we came to talk about, right? It is Raw. The Attitude Era ending on Raw, right? Just, first off, Raw from start to finish, right? Seth coming out of the audience. The kid with the phone next to him is a little weird. there's got to be something that I don't know happening there. Maybe the kid knows him, or maybe he's a part of it. It was something weird because he was way too close to Seth to just be like, all right, bro, you can take that video the whole time. But the whole segment was really, really great. Seth is on fire. Cody, again, it's the best, as I've said previously on the podcast and as I've said to friends, and this is as hot as wrestling has maybe ever been since I've been a fan. This is hotter than NWO, I think. This is hotter than Attitude Era was. It's peak. And I heard Cody this morning on the MMA Hour call it maybe the Renaissance Era, which is that's kind of a cool name for it, right? And I heard Triple H say, at some point they're going to say this is an era, right? But WWE is everywhere. Now, again, I know that I'm targeted on social medias and on YouTube and everything, so they're sending me videos, and so I'm getting it. I am their target audience. But is there anything hotter? Triple H on Complex sneakers, on sneaker shopping. Cody, Rhea, Becky, CM Punk, all on MMA Hour. Cody on the Today Show. Roman and The Rock, I think, are on the Tonight Show or something. There are so many things happening, and it's all because of things like Monday Night Raw, where it is as hot as it's ever been. The crowds are crazy. Everyone wants what's happening right now, and I don't think that there's a bad way to move forward. I think that they continue to do the booking the right way. Everything is cool. And again, for me, I've been a fan forever, so yeah, we can question booking, but I don't know that it's ever been better than it is right now. Triple H is the genius behind it all, and I think that's pretty cool too. I love to see it. So NXT as well is on fire. But to the point being, Raw, not the greatest ever. I thought last week was the greatest ever, but this was a close second. Unbelievable. They are on a upward ride, and it is we are on the roller coaster in the road to WrestleMania, and it just doesn't get any better. I hope that they continue to keep some type of creative arc after WrestleMania too, because it's hard, right? You have that, it's sometimes a letdown afterwards, right? Everybody's like, all right, now we can breathe, but I hope that they just continue to just hammer it. They announced Clash at the Castle this week with Drew. So a lot of cool stuff just happening right now, and I love that about professional wrestling. And I was an Attitude Era kid. Some of the stuff in the Attitude Era is dumb when you watch it back, but this is great. So it's an even better ending. So we'll call it the Renaissance Era, as Cody referred to it as. And I think that's great. So I'm super pumped about the road to WrestleMania, and Raw was no different. So with that being said, moving on. I'm going to keep it moving today. It's going to be a quick episode, so thank you guys again for joining us. This next segment, final SmackDown expectations. I will be at SmackDown tonight. If you're watching on YouTube, it's tonight. If you're watching on Twitch, just 2 days away. I don't have any expectations. I don't know what's going to happen. I think Jay and Solo are going to fight, right? The Hall of Fame is going to be great. I'm super pumped about the Hall of Fame. I don't love Roman inducting Paul. I thought there was a bunch of other people that maybe could have, but I do get it in the end. They have been together for a while, so maybe all in all. So that'll be cool at the end. But SmackDown expectations, there's just not a lot that you can do from here. There's the next day is WrestleMania. I don't know what more they could really do to further a lot of the stories that they already have, introducing things. I think Jade, of course, will come out, and there'll be some talk there. There won't be anything crazy, right? I think maybe tag team moving forward. There'll be some tag team stuff to move that storyline forward. U.S. title stuff. I don't know where they go with Randy and Kevin and Logan Paul. Maybe Logan Paul will come out and do something. Triple H hasn't missed yet, so we shall see at this point what's going to happen. I don't really have any expectations, I guess. But let me know in the comments. If you're watching on YouTube, let me know what your expectations are. I'd love to have a little dialogue before I go to the event. So if you're watching, let me know in the comments. And here's to hoping WrestleMania weekend kicks off with a bang at the SmackDown. But my expectations are low and kind of hoping just to coast into WrestleMania the next day. All right. We're really blazing through today, man. Like I said, I don't have a ton. Being my only guest, I feel like Colin Cowherd out here. We have about the same amount of listeners, too. So it's very different being just me by myself, which I do find interesting. So it's kind of like talking to myself in the mirror. I've been cutting promos my whole life to myself, so maybe this would be easy. But it's not as easy as I was going to think. So a little different. But this is really what we came to talk about. We are on the road to WrestleMania, and it is here. We are ending that road. We are getting off that exit ramp and heading to the stadium. And I'm a big part of a huge wrestling group chat, and we do a wrestling pool for all the PLEs, which is super fun. It's a great way you give points to each match, who you think's going to win. You pick them, do all the stuff. So that's a pretty cool thing that we get to do. Shout out to the only thing Miguel Minetti does good for the group. I'd love to send you guys me and him are going to throw down in Lincoln Financial Sunday, April 7th in Lincoln Financial parking lot. Maybe I'll send the highlights. Also, I do want to point out as I do this Mania Pick'em, follow us on Around the Mat Pod on Instagram. I'm going to be live doing stories, doing posts, talking with friends about wrestling the whole weekend, showcasing the world. If you're not there and you can't see it, check us out there. Hit me with the follow on Around the Mat Pod on Instagram and see all of the stuff that's going on at WrestleMania. If you can't be there, it's like being there. So close, it's like being in the ring.
WWF figures so close to the real thing, it's like being in the ring.
I don't know if you guys remember that commercial. Shout out to that one, Hasbro. But yeah, so I can't wait to showcase that. I've got cool overlays and some stuff, and I've got some topics I'm going to talk with some friends about that I don't get to see in person a lot. So join us there. But Mania Pick'em. So back to the point, we do a pool, and we love to just bet on wrestling, for lack of a better term, right? DraftKings, and they do this very similar thing. So we'll just go through the picks, and I'm going to start at the very bottom. WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2, I don't know which matches are going to be where yet, other than like the tag match, of course, in the main event. But with that being said, we'll start with Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio taking on Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio Jr. First off, I think this match doesn't really need to happen. I don't get the storyline. The LWO versus Legado, I think if you separated all those wrestlers, they are some of my favorites. Los Lotharios is a terrible tag team name, but I think that they are great. I think that Carlito's amazing. I think that Legado, I think Santos is one of my favorite. He was a great wrestler as El Hijo del Fantasma. I love him, Fantasma, and I love him now as Santos Escobar. I think he does a great job. Electra Lopez. There's all these pieces of the LWO, but all those wrestlers separate make sense. I don't really get the whole against each other thing. I think it's kind of silly. There's so many other directions you could have been, especially with those tag teams. You had tag teams available to get in to the tag team title thing rather than the ones you had get in. So with that being said, I pick Santos Escobar, and I'm pretty confident in that's going to happen. I don't know, but I feel confident in the way they're building Santos. Next up, Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits versus Karrion Kross and their team, whatever they're called now. I can't even remember off the top of my head. But I'm picking Lashley and the Street Profits. Ever since AOP has come back, it's been super flat. That whole rivalry is flat. It's bad. So, but I did pick Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. Next, 6-woman tag match. Jade, Bianca, Naomi versus Damage Control. I've got Jade going over because there's no way in this world that Triple H is sending Jade out there and she's going to lose the first night. Not a chance. So, Jade, Naomi, and Bianca get the win. Next, LA Knight and AJ Styles. What a great matchup. I do love LA Knight. LA Knight. Yeah. Love that. I also loved AJ Styles, man. I remember him when he debuted in WWE. I was such a TNA fan. That was the last real debut where I was like, oh my gosh. I felt like at that moment before Cody came back, right? Just at like a complete surprise, unbeknownst to others, was unbelievable. So, but at that point, I am going to go LA Knight. Yeah. Because I do believe they're still building him up. I don't know where AJ goes from here, but we'll see what happens. But I'm picking LA Knight. Jey Uso versus Jimmy. Man, this is a matchup that I think is so good that I've been waiting to do, and they've done such a great job building it on the side against each other. Yeet versus no Yeet. And they have built those guys up. I think those guys are showcasing their skill set on the mic by themselves as individuals, which is really, really great. Being in a tag team that long, it's got to be hard. And so I love that. And I'm going with Jey Uso. Yeet! Because I can't wait. I wish Fred were here to yell yeet for me one time. Can't wait to see that. So I got Jay going over on Jimmy. Next, tag team ladder match. So We have separated these two into two separate because if you heard on Monday, Michael Cole announced that both titles would be available, that once both titles were pulled down, you would have a champion. So that means one at a time type of thing could be done. So that's kind of cool. That's an interesting take on it. And I love tag team wrestling, and who doesn't love a ladder match at WrestleMania? So with that, for the Raw tag titles, I'm going to go with Awesome Truth. I just think R-Truth deserves it. That guy is unbelievable. At his age, he's done a great job, and I just look forward to him continuing on. He's hilarious. I think they should have capitalized with him in the Judgment Day. I think they missed the opportunity of him capitalizing on something there. But right now, they're doing a great job with that. So I've got Awesome Truth for that one. For the SmackDown titles, I've got New Catch Republic. I do think Judgment Day loses both gold, and I think, I'll get to that later on about Damian cashing in, but I do think they lose both titles. So that's cool that they're separating them. Hopefully they'll bring out new tag belts because those are the most god-awfulest tag team title belts of all time. They are the worst title belts in the history of wrestling, next to AEW's original women's title. Those two are the bad. Those two are the worst. So I am excited for that tag team ladder match. Up next, U.S. title match. Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens versus Logan Paul. This is a toss-up for me. It's a really, really hard one because I don't really know how the story... sometimes that's the best thing about wrestling is you get to kind of suspend disbelief and you really don't know what's going to happen at certain points, right? Of course, there's jobber matches, there's squash matches, all those things, but that's the cool thing about wrestling is you really never know. This is one of those matches. I went with Orton because I do think that RKO is coming out of nowhere, or I think Logan Paul could... Again, I picked Orton, but I do think Logan Paul could win because he's got a group of idiot friends that keep showing up all the time. So we'll see what happens. But I did pick Orton, and we'll see what happens there. Up next, the IC title match. Man, I love Sami Zayn. I was an El Generico guy forever. I loved him in Ring of Honor. I love him now. His character work has been really, really great for as long as he's been in WWE, and I love that. So Sami Zayn really, really... especially with the vignette they did on Monday was a little cornball, right? But cornball in the best way possible. It was a little corny, but it was also really, really good. It's very Rocky-esque, which I think is what they're going for, right, with the Philadelphia connection. And maybe that's just us being wrestling fans and trying to tie it to something. But I loved it. Sami Zayn going over. So I do think Sami upsets Gunther because I think Gunther has to go to the top now. I think they've got to move him up to the next level. There's only so much you can do as the IC champ, right? As they always say, as Conrad says, the assistant manager belt. But I love the IC title matches Gunther last year put on, and I'm excited to see that. But I did pick Sami, and here's the hope. I mean, I love Gunther, but I think Sami gets it done. Up next, Bayley versus Io, which I think is like the least talked about match at the pay-per-view. I really don't think they've been getting the same love that everybody else is getting. It's hard, right? You can't not everybody can be top person, and I get that. Even in the women's division, you got 2 titles, so it's hard. I picked Bayley because I do think that Bayley winning the Rumble, and I think she deserves it. I think she's a star in the ring. She's really good. So I look for her to continue her streak. I loved Io Sky too, and I think it's going to be a really, really great wrestling match, which I'm excited about too. So pumped for that one, but I picked Bayley. Up next, Becky versus Rhea. This pains me to say, but I did pick Becky, and I don't really know why now that I'm thinking about it. Because mommy's always on top, and I do love Rhea Ripley. So, with that being said, I may have made a mistake here, but I did pick Becky. She has the worst finisher in the history of wrestling, which I wish she would get rid of that. So hopefully something will change there. It's a little stale, the whole thing. I'm not super into it. She did have a bestseller book, so maybe that they want to put her on top for that too. But I picked Becky. So here's the hoping. Up next, it's only getting better, right? We are peaking at wrestling fandom here. But Drew McIntyre versus Seth freaking Rollins. Sing it with me. Oh. Big fan of Seth freaking Rollins. And, however, I do have him losing to Drew. I think CM Punk gets involved, but with announcing a pay-per-view in Scotland, I just feel like Drew has to be the champ, although he didn't win it last time. I don't know anymore. I do kind of love that. That's the best part, but I did pick Drew, and we'll see what happens here because I think CM Punk somehow gets involved. It's going to be a great match. I mean, Seth being in the main event on night 1, semi-main event on night 2, can't beat that. So, but I did pick Drew. So Drew McIntyre going over. All right. Rock and Roman versus Cody and Seth. I don't know if y'all heard today on MMA Hour, but Cody bought Seth and him matching Rollies. Man, what I wouldn't give to have a matching Rolex with Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins. That'd be sick. Maybe my brother will cop me one. Who knows? But with this one, it's a tag match to determine whether or not Cody Rhodes gets his one-on-one match on Sunday with Roman. Here's my theory. Long game. I think Rock and Roman go over. I think they start to bait it in, right? They're doing the whole thing, and it's bloodline rules on Sunday. And I think Rock turns on Roman on Sunday, and Cody finally finishes the story like he deserves. Spin now, make more later. My hero. Everybody's hero right now. If you're not a Cody fan, you're a Roman fan, you're putting that one up, you're in the minority. You're the problem. It's Cody till we die, all day, every day. So Sunday I got Cody Rhodes winning, and I think Saturday in the tag match is Rock and Roman going over. And like I said, I think that's kind of how I fantasy book it right now in my mind. That's what's going to happen. Maybe we'll get a rock bottom and then a big elbow on Roman, and Cody finishes them off. I think that would be sick. And I think maybe that's why they're not alluding to what Cody and Rock have been saying to each other. So very cool. Again, the whole story is unbelievable. The fact that it's headlining 2 nights, that just speaks volumes to the work that all 4 men are putting in, right? And I've said this again. I think The Rock's entrance music, his entrance as a whole, puts him in the top. It's unbelievable. It really, really is great. And I love that. I love that about The Rock right now. However, I'm not a super Rock guy, right? I mean, it's cool to see him back. I had this argument the other day. It's like, do we need him? Did we need him? Maybe. I don't know. It's cool that we have him. So I don't really think about did we need him or not. Do we have him? But Cody's going over. Cody's finishing the story. And for 3 years that I've been going to WrestleMania, I got to see Cody debut. Cody's my favorite wrestler. So that was awesome. Last year I did see him lose, but still amazing to see him in the main event. And then now I'm going to see him in the main event 2 nights in a row. That's really, really cool. Wrestling, man, is as hot as it's ever been today. And what a time to be alive as a wrestling fan. And if you're not a fan, and maybe you're casual, or maybe you're just now getting into it, this is the time to get into it. It's awesome. The video games are great. The fandom is real. The internet wrestling community kind of sucks sometimes, but otherwise there's a lot of great people, man. I've met a lot of great people online, people that I'm friends with, which is really cool. Wrestling, man. What a great time. So those are my picks, man. Hopefully I do well in the pool. It would be really great to win. I could rub that in Miguel's face as well when I'm burying him deep in Lincoln Financial parking lot. If you guys want to see a fight, come join us at the tailgate. Me and Miguel finally going to go at it. But no, I'm super pumped. Again, Around the Mat Pod. Join us on Instagram. It's going to be a great time this weekend. WrestleMania is on Peacock. I wish I was getting paid for this, but they are on Peacock this weekend if you want to check it out. Friday, they're Saturday, Sunday. NXT is on Saturday. I can't wait for that. We haven't really talked about that, but NXT, what a amazing event that's going to be with Carmelo Hayes and Trick. Look, there's maybe the second best entrance in wrestling right now might be Trick. Cody, of course, is up there. Seth on top, right? Obvious ones. But Trick right now with Whoop That Trick is unbelievable. You got to see it. We saw him here in Clarksville for the PLE, and it was amazing. And I suspect that Saturday morning at Stand and Deliver is going to be nuts. So I'm super pumped about that as well. I've got tickets to everything. I'm going to Smackdown, Hall of Fame. I'm going to the World. I'm going to, like I said, the Wrestling for Sale pop-up. I'm going to WrestleCon. I'm going to WrestleMania. I'm going to Raw. And then I'll come back to reality next week. But until then, we are on that road to WrestleMania. All right. I said I would do it, so I'm going to do a little trivia time here. And good thing for me, I even left that in there. All right, so it's just me here, so this will be quick, but kind of a fun one to just go through it by myself as we end this episode and wrap it up. So, as I mentioned previously, I don't know the answers. I'm not looking at the back. I'm just kind of showing you guys this. I have a huge collection of wrestling trivia cards from WWF. It's from a board game in the 90s. Very wide, eclectic questions. I have no idea. I haven't read through these since I was a kid. I don't know the answers, at least what's on the back yet, until we read through them. But this is kind of how it works. So, 5 questions, and first one's up. Where did the May 1995 In Your House take place? Louisville, Saginaw, or Syracuse? May 1995. I'm going to go with Syracuse. And the answer is Syracuse. Look at me, 1 for 1. All right, now we're really kicking it up today. At WrestleMania 9, Mr. Fuji caused Bret Hart to lose the WWF Championship by throwing salt at him, tripping him with a pole, or giving him a chop. And that answer is throwing salt at him, for those remember WrestleMania 9. The worst, but if you're a fan and you're a kid, man, it was my first WrestleMania that I remember watching live. WrestleMania 9 has a special place in my heart. All right, at WrestleMania 7, the Ultimate Warrior Randy Savage match was a lumberjack match, retirement match, or steel cage match. That answer is a retirement match. Man, I'm 3 for 3 today, baby. I'm hitting on all cylinders here. At WrestleMania 5, who did Demolition defend the tag team titles against at WrestleMania 5? I am going to say Strike Force. Oh, I'm wrong. It's Powers of Pain. I don't know how I didn't remember that. All right. These are all WrestleMania. These are pretty good. At WrestleMania 1, the national anthem was sung by was it Liberace? Oh, Gene Okerlund. Wow. I did not know that one. That I should have watched WrestleMania 1 again. So that is 5 trivia questions here for the week. And that's all we got. I'm technically the champion this week, because I'm 1 of 1, baby. Hold my ones up in the air. But thank you guys again for joining us here on Around the Mat Pod, man. I am PJ North. Again, if you're on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you guys so much. If you're watching on Twitch, thank you for joining us another week here. We'll be back on our regularly scheduled program next time on Thursdays, 6:45. We live stream, so don't forget to join us there. If you're listening on Spotify or iTunes, thank y'all so much. Hit that like button, hit the follow button, hit the 5-star review or the run star review, whichever you prefer. Thank you guys again. My name is PJ North. And I am on the road to WrestleMania. Join us on Instagram all weekend as I go live and I give you all the highlights of the best stuff I see at WrestleMania. This is Around the Mat Pod. Until next time,